Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to look at your work and finances, because that's what came up when I drew the cards for the collective. I feel like this is definitely about a work situation, and the way that I see the cards right now is like you're seriously considering leaving a stable situation because there has been an emotional shift of some sorts, and I feel like the effort that you've been trying to put in a situation has not produced the career or the financial outcome that you wanted or expected. And that is why you're considering a change. So I'm gonna go and, like always, and talk you through the cards that showed up here. And I feel like with the first card, it's not objectively bad, because the first card that came out was the sun, and the sun might be that your job, your business, or also your financial setup right now is not necessarily bad. It might be stable, predictable, it might even be accepted, like especially socially accepted. And I feel like this is another one of those situations where on the outside people could say like, but you're in a great situation, what are you talking about? Like, this should be good enough, and that might be what you're feeling too. This should be good enough. But then we come to the conclusion here, or also to the position of the next energy, which is the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords is sort of saying, is it though? This is what you're thinking. This is what's going on in your mind. And in your mind, you might be looking at job listings or thinking about browsing job listings. You might be thinking about a different industry to be in entirely. You might be imagining a different setup for your work. You might considering maybe a more remote kind of work, more self-employment, or also a different structure. But it feels like you're mentally at this point where you're sort of packing your bags, to be honest. Even though you haven't done anything yet. This is all still going on in your head, and you're thinking about it. You might even be thinking about a specific person to ask for advice or other things. And it seems to me that this is sort of like, it's really in your head. You're like going through the motions of like, is this worth staying in? Even if it's like objectively not a bad situation. The thing is that I feel like with the next energy showed up was the King of Cups. And I feel like this is where the emotional thing comes in that I was talking about. It's sort of like you might be the one that people go to if they need help. At this work or at this job situation, your career, whatever, you might be very dependable. You might also not be someone who complains a lot or who's very dramatic in the bad way, right? So I feel like you're taking on a lot of responsibility, but what I also feel is that there's not really the recognition that you've been hoping for. I feel like that you're sort of the emotional backbone of this environment that you're in, and but what you don't get is a promotion or like higher pay, or you're not feeling you're advancing anyway. So it feels like you're in a situation where the system is running and it's up and running and you're the backbone of it. It's objectively a good situation, but at the same time, mentally, you're entertaining other ideas. And I feel like that you've also pulled back internally a little bit, because the next energy that showed itself, and that's sort of where I would see your current state in this, was the Hermit card. And the Hermit card is might look like that there's less involvement. You're less into it, I want to say. You might not be as emotionally invested in the situation right now. You might be doing your job, but you're not like going the extra mile. It's like, I do what I need to do, and that's where I'll leave it. Also, I feel like with this energy that we're seeing here, you might be thinking more about your own sort of where are you going personally than maybe in the bigger scheme of the company or the environment that you're in. So it's not like, I don't feel like you're burned out or anything like that, but I feel that you're in this quiet evaluation mode where you're just like, I'm noticing things, I'm realizing things, and I'm gonna keep going with this. The thing is that there is a decision phase or a decision energy showing up here. This might be in the future for you, but the thing is that with the Judgment card here, this is the turning point of this entire energy, basically. And Judgment is always about having this epiphany, sort of having this realization that comes in. And this might be for you that what you're doing right now has reached this peak point where you know that this can no longer stay, or you can no longer advance from this position. I feel like that growth that you were hoping for, maybe the promotion or also financial growth, is not happening with your current setup, and that is the realization that's coming in, right? And that also probably staying in the situation longer and longer might not actually have the outcome that you want. So it won't change it necessarily. This is really, I think, where you're realizing that the chapter that you're in is sort of functionally complete. Okay, so I feel like that, if you're at that stage, if you're asking yourself a question like, if nothing changes here, do I still want to be here in a year? Or what happens if I stay? Where will I be in a year or 2 years? And that is sort of like also where there might be some disappointment present, because the next card that we're getting with the energy is the emotional reality, and that is the Five of Cups. There is disappointment. That is the promotion that never happened. That is probably promises that didn't actually materialize in the real world. And it's realizing that you might have stayed longer than you should have. I feel like this could be when you tell yourself like, man, I really thought it was turned into something better and it never did, which is okay. Those things happen. This is about realizing that. This is about seeing it for what it is, and that's what these readings are for. So don't beat yourself up about it, because this happens to so many of us, and this can give you the clarity that you might have needed to actually advance in your situation. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Pentacles. Need to put this higher. And this is the direction that your energy is moving toward. That's how I feel about it. And that is independence. This might be self-employment. This might be working more on your own terms, like self-employment. This is also financial self-sufficiency. So also with coins, I feel like there's always this very material thing to it. This can also, of course, be all of the earth signs that fall into this category. But what is happening here is that the energy is moving in this direction of more independence. It's less emotional dependent on the system, where we can see here, this might be right now a little bit different, but I feel like there is more self-sufficiency and also less emotional dependence on some things. This is also, I feel like, working more on your own time. And this is followed up by the Knight of Swords, which is always a decisive action. This is fast decisions. This is clear communication. This is applying, resigning, negotiating, making a move. Okay, this is movement, going forward, leaving. So I feel like this together, just a second, this together might suggest to you that when you do act, it won't be slow and it won't be like this hesitant feeling. I think that you'll be in a state of clarity, and that is your direct move toward more independence. Also, this is followed up by the Queen of Coins here, Queen of Pentacles, and this is you in your state. So I feel like all of this leads to better things ahead. Not to say that that is an easy road to travel on, but I think that this clarity that you might be gaining over the next couple of weeks is actually what you need to move forward to that destination that you're going to. So I think what needs to be said here is that what might be important to you is to stop evaluating this job or this career or this move that you're on based on how great it looks on the outside, okay? That it might be better to look at it, does it still offer you possibilities of growth? And also at the same time, if the answer then is no, that is where you start preparing your exit practically. Like, it doesn't mean that this has to be emotionally supercharged. It feels like this is a very strategic decision then. I feel like that if you focus on the paths that give you more control over your income and your work structure, that is where you will find that strength to move forward with this. I feel like also important, this is not a quit your job message or anything like that, but this is a message for those of you who already sort of know that the chapter has likely run its course. And if this resonated, take this as information, not pressure. This is very important. Outgrowing a job doesn't mean that that was the wrong choice. I feel it means that you're at the point in your life where you're ready for the next level, and that is still to be determined. So you're allowed to move, you're allowed to move towards a work that actually matches the effort and the direction that you want and also offers those opportunities for growth. Okay, if this resonated, let me know. As always, I'll see you in the next reading. Bye bye.